Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. What is up? Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the Burnell Washburn podcast. If you're new, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining us today. Another blessed day to be alive on this magical, beautiful planet. First things first, shout out to the Gratitude Gang, all the Patreon supporters. Lighting my heart on fire, yo. The Patreon continues to grow every month, and it's just, it's so cool to know that you guys are getting value from that. Not only are you guys throwing your money on the Patreon every month, but you guys are sending me messages letting me know specific things that you're learning or being reminded of from this podcast. And it's a beautiful thing that I can use my words and my heart and my spirit to uplift and inspire and help you have a better quality of life. You know what I mean? We can all help each other in so many ways. And every time I record a podcast, I feel like I'm living out my soul's purpose, doing what I love, being of value, being of service to others, contributing to this global ascension, contributing to the building of a more beautiful paradigm for all of us. So I'm insanely grateful for your support. Shout out to all the listeners. Shout out to all you guys who've been sharing it on your Instagram stories. The numbers just keep going up every month thanks to you guys. So, feeling just super grateful, super excited to be chatting with you guys today. Let me take a little sip of my morning beverage here. Rasa, energy and harmony. You already know what it is. Shout out to our sponsor, Rasa. If you're trying to check your relationship with caffeine, or if you just want to feel better in general, Rasa is an adaptogenic coffee alternative. Honestly, I drink it plus coffee. I drink coffee and Rasa. I just drink a lot less coffee now than I used to. And I've just been feeling amazing with all these adaptogens. After the first 12 days or so, you just start feeling this new energy. You're more balanced. All the adrenal fatigue is gone. I feel like I've rebalanced my endocrine system. And man, it's just got all these different types of mushrooms and herbs and nothing whack added to it. So check out We Are Rasa. That's WEARERASA, wearerasa.com. Use promo code Burnell, BURNELL, for 15% off your entire order. You can keep using that code. And yeah, check it out if you haven't yet. If you've been drinking it, then you already know what it is. I just drink the original. Some people like the cacao ones. They have a few different kinds, but yeah, it's an amazing company, amazing product, and I'm super grateful for these guys supporting, and I'm grateful to be able to support them by sending y'all to drink the products because it's good stuff. So check out wearerasa.com, promo code Burnell, and just get those those herbs in your system, those mushrooms. It's just new levels of health. You already know what it is. So today, I want to talk about, it'll probably be a quick episode. I feel like I say that all the time, and then it's never really that quick because I like to talk. But I'm still in a little bit of a healing. You might hear it in my voice. I'm in the process of healing, and I feel like I've overextended my throat chakra a lot by talking too much, expressing too many feelings, and need to relax a little bit and wind that down just a notch or two. So hopefully we'll do a quicker episode today, but it shall be a powerful episode regardless. Today I really want to talk about attracting your soul tribe. I know I've talked about it a little before, but I want to dive in deeper because it's on my heart again recently. And, our life is only as good as the quality of our relationships. So it's important that we cultivate our soul tribe. We're all born into certain families, and I feel like there's certain soul contracts that we choose for our mission here on Earth School before we even manifest into a physical human body. So I feel like a lot of who we chose our parents and our siblings and things like that before we came to this earth, possibly. I don't know for sure. That's an intuitive feeling that I think a lot of people have resonated with as well. But then there's your soul tribe, and this is the people that you get to choose. I can't really choose who my dad is or who my brother is, but I can choose who I'm following on social media. I can choose what books I'm reading, what YouTube channels I'm subscribing to, what podcasts I'm listening to. I can choose who I'm hanging out with. I can choose who I allow to come into my home. I can choose, all these different types of relationships. And so I think a lot of people want higher vibe, higher quality relationships. And I don't even like really saying like higher vibe relationships. It's just like the best way I know how to describe it for now. More fulfilling relationships. Because I'm not trying to say like, oh, certain people are like better than others or something like that. But like more aligned to what you want to experience in life. So we can choose a lot of our relationships, but a lot of people don't choose consciously, at least. They just kind of settle for who's around them and who they grew up with or what's convenient and what's easy for them. And a lot of times we stay in toxic relationships just because they're familiar. And the unknown is scary. So it's easier for us to stay in a familiar discomfort than it is to leave something that's uncomfortable and possibly go find something new that we don't know. It could be worse. It could be better. We don't know. It's unknown, so we're scared. So we just stay in the familiar. We stay with what we know. And like as you guys know, like all of our biggest expansion and fulfillment in life is going to be outside of our comfort zone. And we're never going to consistently play outside of our comfort zone. So we have to expand what's comfortable. And we expand our comfort zone by just going out a little bit further and not dying. You know what I mean? Like I've used the ocean metaphor. I used to go to the ocean and I would barely dip my feet in, and like the cold water, just like I would let it maybe get to my ankles. And if I went any further than that, it was really scary. But I just slowly, the more often I went to the ocean, I started going out more and more. And then I became comfortable going like waist deep after a while. Okay, I can be waist deep, and it's not so scary anymore. After a while, I was like, okay, I'm down to get chest deep. And then now I get all the way in. And now, the last time I was at the ocean, I swam out way further than I've ever swam out before, to where like I was getting moved around by the currents. I was deep enough to where like sharks and whales and all sorts of things could be. Luckily, it was just dolphins, but there probably was sharks. I don't know. I didn't see any, but I got out there and it was like, okay, I didn't die. And so now that's my new comfort zone. Now when I go to the ocean, I'm down to go a lot further out than I used to because I slowly expand in my comfort zone. And it's kind of like that. That's how you expand your comfort zone in anything. So with building new relationships and attracting higher vibe people, we have to expand our comfort zone, or else we're just going to keep attracting the same type of people that are into the same type of thing, that have the same habits and same routines and same mindsets. And in order for our quality of life to change, we got to change our relationships and be around people that inspire us and uplift us and help us grow and want what's best for us and can teach us a lot. And I say this all the time. You've heard this from every self-development, person that you've ever studied. You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And there's a lot of science on that. There's a lot of studies from like Harvard and Yale and Stanford and, some of these Ivy League schools talking about how like your grades will be right around the same grades as your 5 best homies that go to that school too, or whatever. Like your income will make, I can't remember the exact number, but I've heard studies like you make within $5,000 or $10,000 a year of your 5 closest friends. So if all your friends are making $30,000 a year, then the most you're probably going to make is like $35,000 a year. if you're super crushing it. But if all your homies are making $1 million a year, you're probably just through osmosis going to start making a lot more money because you're going to adapt their mindsets. You're going to see how they live. You're going to see what their habits are, how they talk, how they dress, where they hang out. And you're going to just start naturally doing the things that they do. And, we don't get what we want in life. We get what we are. And I'll take that a little bit further and say we don't get what we are on a intellectual level. We get what we are on a subconscious level. Whatever, like the body to me is the subconscious mind. So whatever your body believes you are, that's what you're going to attract. And, to get your body to believe that you're a certain way, you need to embody it. You need to show your body that you're that type of person by being that type of person by, like I could just sit here and intellectually talk about being healthy, but if I'm putting a bunch of crap in my body and never exercising, then my body's not going to actually believe that. In order to cultivate an identity as a healthy person and thus attract healthy people, I have to show my body that by working out, by eating healthy, by going out in nature, by practicing Qigong, by taking the cold showers, by doing all the things that I talk about. Because I'm embodying that frequency. I'm being the vibration that I want to attract. Because I'm not going to attract the type of people that I wish I could be around or that I want to be around. I'm going to attract the type of people that I am like. Yeah, like attracts like. And similar energy attracts similar energy. So the more you focus on raising your vibration and embodying the type of person that you want to be, the more those type of people are just going to naturally come into your life. It'll feel like magic. For me, I just keep attracting people that blow my mind. I just can't even believe the type of people that I'm associating with now and hanging out with. Like, people that used to be my idols are my peers now. They're my homies. We kick it. We hang out. We talk. We have conversations. That we DM each other. And it's just like just the other day, I've been practicing just following a trail of pleasantries because that's how I get back into alignment and get back into my higher self as I do what feels most pleasant. The path back to where you want to be is not a path of struggle and fighting against what you don't want. It's actually a path of pleasantries. It's a path of doing what feels right, thinking a good thought, and then having an intuitive nudge to do something just because it feels good, doing that, and then enjoying that, and then you open up the space for another intuitive idea, and you just keep following these inspirations, and that's why I have that song called Following Your Bliss, or Following My Bliss. Because it's so true that whenever I'm following my bliss, things just start working out like magic. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, if I didn't randomly follow my bliss the other day to do this, this, and that, then I wouldn't have met that person or done this. Like, I'll give you a couple quick examples. So, the other day, I just felt called to go on a hike up Bell Canyon. And this is like a normal day in the life for me. This is not even that crazy. Like, this is just how my life is becoming. The more I'm following these intuitive nudges and, doing what lights my heart up and, listening to my heart instead of my brain thinking, oh, you got to work and you got to pay these bills. It's like, no, my heart feels like going in nature just because it feels good right now. And it's all I really want to do. Like, if this is my last day, like, that's what I would do. So fuck it, I'm doing that. And then magical things happen where it's like, holy shit, I got a way better result than if I would have done what my brain wanted me to do and just like been working all day or whatever. Like, so anyway, I feel called in my heart to go up Bell Canyon, which is a beautiful, magical hiking spot in Utah that I like to go to. I've had some of the most profound spiritual experiences of my life up there. I used to go up there and eat mushrooms at night a lot and I know that place like the back of my hand, and I've had some beautiful connection. Like, that's when I really had like a Kundalini awakening and realized I want to do my music for full time, and then I was going to go home and quit my job. And like, that's the first time up that canyon my heart just exploded with gratitude, where like I remember just looking at this lake late at night, middle of the night, looking at the trees, and I could see the trees breathing, and my whole entire I became one with everything, and my heart just burst open, and I felt the most gratitude I've ever felt, and just like so grateful to exist and be a part of this planet, and just like I can't even, it's indescribable. So I've had a lot of experiences like that up there, and I just feel called to go be up there in that energy sometimes. So instead of focusing on how I'm going to pay these bills or whatever, because I have financial pressures and things to deal with that day, I decided to follow my heart and, do what just felt right. And as I'm up there, I have a beautiful meditation. I listen to this like life-changing podcast. This cat, Dr. Stephen Lovegrove, was just dropping all this wisdom. Like one of the things he said is, are you being the thermometer or are you being the thermostat? A thermometer can only tell the temperature. A thermostat can change the temperature. So it's kind of like, are you in victim mode, or are you in your power, in your divine, in your, like, realizing that you're a piece of God, that you're the creator of your own reality. Like a thermometer goes into the room and says, like, oh man, this vibe sucks here, I don't like this person, I don't like this person, I don't like that circumstance, A thermostat says, I'm gonna raise this vibe. I'm gonna be the life of the party. I'm going to set the temperature to whatever feels best to me. Like, because I'm the creator of my own reality and I can do whatever I want. So I really like that thermometer versus thermostat analogy. And I was just having a beautiful day, hiking around, listening to a podcast, found a nice place to meditate, worked with a little hape medicine, which is like a jungle snuff with a bunch of different herbs and tree barks, and it's a nice little plant medicine that they use a lot in like ayahuasca ceremonies, and kind of focuses you and recenters you and opens up your heart. And, there's a lot of different kinds. But anyway, I'm working with that a little bit, have this profound meditation. I feel like, I want to write a song right now. So I pull out my laptop, put on a beat, start writing a song. And as I write the word Quantopia, I'm trying to think of a rhyme for Quantopia, like Quantopia, then the song dope as fuck, like I'm just like kind of mumbling different words that might rhyme with Quantopia. And as I'm saying that, I look down and my phone's ringing, and who is it? It's this guy named Charlie Rocket, CEO Charlie. Some of you guys might follow him online. You might have seen him on different podcasts. He's becoming one of the most sought after transformational speakers on the planet. He used to be 2 Chainz manager. He's like a Nike athlete. He's in that Nike commercial with Colin Kaepernick, all sorts of, like, he's just an awesome dude, and he's like this crazy magical manifester that is really inspiring and has a lot of, like, he's just this guy I've been following online that I love. Like every time I watch his content, I feel so inspired and uplifted and empowered and like ready to just create my reality and create the life of my dreams. So I've been kind of putting out in the universe that I want to work with him and just people like him. I want to start throwing self-development seminars and events similar to what I've done in the hip-hop space, but with the self-development spiritual space. And, I've been thinking about ways to brand myself and position myself as a public speaker, as someone that would get hired to come be at these events. And not even because I want the validation or the money or whatever. All those things are a nice byproduct. But I really want to be around these people that inspire me and light me up. I want to evolve my relationships to a new level. And one of the ways I've done that with hip-hop is I was the one throwing events. I kind of established myself as like a credible name and as someone that could provide value to these people that I looked up to. And then they started all fucking with me, and like, I've performed all these shows with all the biggest hip hop artists in the world, and like the Logics, the Mac Millers, the Macklemores, you name it. And it's been a blessing, and it's been very, I love it, and I'm not even close to stopping anytime soon. But over the last few years, I've gotten more into self-development and a lot more into spirituality, and I want to surround myself with people that are similar to that. Because I realize just because someone's, successful in hip-hop, that's one area of their life. It doesn't mean they have all these areas of life figured out. So I'm trying to get around people that are healthy and inspired and happy and spiritually connected, and people that have a lot of gratitude, and they're good at forgiveness, and they're radical acceptance, and just all these different emotions that I aspire to embody. And so I want to do that by throwing these self-development events and blah blah blah. Right as I write the word Quantopia, CEO Charlie calls me, Charlie Rocket, and that's his whole event is called Quantopia, which is where I even heard the word, and I was just using it in a rap. But literally the second I wrote it, he called me. Mind blowing. So anyway, there I am, following my bliss, being in nature, writing music, doing what I love. Logically, all that stuff was probably not smart to be doing because I had financial pressure. I need to pay these bills, and most people listen to those pressures more than they listen to their heart, which is heartbreaking to me, and this is why I'm pushing the message so much. But I'm doing what I love, and then boom, Charlie calls me. We have this amazing conversation, and it's my first time talking to him, and the reason I even had his number and all that is because I emailed him to potentially throw an event, and he was like, here's my number, let's get on a call. But then it was just the timing of when he actually called me was wild. So we have this talk about, potentially doing some events together, and then he was like, oh, you make music, you make beats. I wrote down in my Quantum Possibilities notebook that I was looking to partner with somebody who does music, and we're bridging this self-development world with the music world, which is exactly what I want to do. He's looking for a guy that wants to do that. That's the same, that's into all this stuff. He has this massive network. I have this massive network. And his is probably a lot more powerful than mine, but nevertheless, and not to sell myself short, I have a lot of value I could provide to him as well. And we just start talking, and it seems like a real synergistic connection, and I'm just like, fuck yes, I'm on this cloud nine. And I basically run down that hiking trail with a smile ear to ear. Then I'm go home, do a couple things, get some work done, and it's time for me to go meet up with one of my coaching clients. Have a little one-on-one session. Randomly, I get a text from this place called Water Fusions that I just barely signed up to their text alerts, and I didn't really know much about it. I think I was just searching smoothies in Salt Lake City, and this place came up, and I was looking it out oh damn, they have all these adaptogens and elixirs and superfoods and smoothies and juices and stuff like that. Seems like a dope place, seems like it's right up my alley. Definitely want to go check this place out sometime, and it had been on my heart to check it out for a few days. I get a text saying they're having a party or something going till 8:30, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna swing by there on my way. And I would have been late to the coaching session, but I just texted homie because it just felt right, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be there closer to 6:30 instead of 6 if that's cool. And he was like, oh, that's perfect actually. So I stop by Water Fusions, and it's just a high vibe. As soon as I walk in, I see this place called Meditation Bay right next to it. I thought they were separate. Turns out it's the same business. It's like a meditation place where you can go meditate, and there's all these plants and meditation pods and just awesome vibes. I go in there, I'm like, this is my dream type of place. Healthy food and superfood drinks, and then meditation, and then they also do things like DNA testing and Reiki and aura healing and quantum medicine and neurofeedback, and what else was he talking about? Craniosacral therapy, all sorts of the things that I'm into just in one place. And I was like, holy shit, this is totally my vibe, and I'm just vibing out. I'm actually watching some of my music homies were actually in there playing music, and I was like, this is tight. Feeling the vibes, just soaking it up, and then, the owner starts talking to me. It's just this nice guy starts talking to me. I find out a few seconds later that he's the owner of this place, and I was like, holy shit. We start having this amazing conversation. We kind of walk into the back room, and we're all talking about meditation and aligning the different hemispheres of your brain and entrepreneurship and health and wellness and all the things that I'm into. And I was like, yo, this is like, did we just become best friends? Like, this dude is awesome. You know what I'm saying? And years ago, I would have thought I needed to move to like Sedona or LA or, somewhere where these type of people are. Little did I know, these type of people are in my own city right down the block. And since I was embodying a vibration, I think that's why him and I just hit it off. If I would have met the same dude years ago when I was just like, I don't know, just like drinking and smoking cigarettes and not being like the best Burnell, I don't think that we would have had this conversation. And, he's all talking about us working together and interviewing me on his podcast and having me teach some meditation classes at his place. And like, just, and this is just one conversation. I'm not saying we're like BFFs now, but it was like this is one example of how when you're being the change you wish to see, when you're embodying a certain vibration, like people that are on a similar frequency just like come into your life like magic. It's crazy. And people that don't embody that are, I don't know, if they're just like being lazy, have a victim mindset, playing video games all day, eating junk food, those type of people like will not be non-existent. You'll try to hit them up and they won't even answer, or they'll try to hit you up and it just won't work out. But it's like everything's a frequency, and you can only experience that is within you, and that which is the vibration that you're on. So when you're on a certain vibration, like the only type of people that can really be in your life are people that are on a similar frequency. So have this amazing conversation with Charlie. Then I go to the water fusions, have an amazing conversation with him. And, as I'm leaving that place, I have another just super high vibrational phone call. I'm noticing super healthy people walking down the street, like people that just look like they're in incredible shape. I'm noticing all these like people that I want to be around, and I was just like, holy shit, dude, my life has changed. Like, but not because I wanted it. It's because I changed myself first. It's not just because I sat there and was like, I stopped going to the bars. I stopped going to the fast food restaurants. I stopped hanging out in the old homies' houses that were just doing nothing and chain smoking and playing video games and whatever. Like, I just couldn't tolerate being around those lower vibrations anymore as I just embodied higher and higher habits for myself. And then turns out I started feeling called to go to places that have a higher vibration. And now like I can just feel the energy in any room that I walk into, and I just immediately leave if it's not my vibe. If it doesn't resonate with like where I'm trying to go in life, I don't want to be there. And I find myself more and more often getting called to places that have a higher energy. Like after I'm done recording this podcast, I'm going to go out into nature because, these mountains, just hanging out by the stream and in the forest, that's the highest vibration that I know. I don't know. I've never been in anywhere on the earth that has a higher vibration than being in nature on a really nice beach or forest or a jungle. And I love being there by myself even. So I'm going to go there and I'll probably meditate. Maybe I'll end up recording a YouTube video. Who knows exactly what I'll do, but I'm just going to follow that intuition because it feels right. And I guarantee some other magical blessings are going to happen today. And I'll probably hop on my Instagram stories and talk about like how divine and how blessed all this stuff was because I went on a hike or. And it always seems to happen like that. When I'm just being the best me, I attract the type of relationships that I really want to be around. The people that really do hold the keys to my next level in life. The people that have the money, the influence, the health, the vitality, the knowledge, the wisdom, all that stuff. The people that have that stuff that can assist me in my next level of growth, and I can assist them. It's just beautiful. I attract my dream clients. I'm I'm attracting people that are awake now. All the people that seem to be coming into my life seem to be awake. They seem to be conscious. They're trying to improve their self and their life on all levels. They're trying to add to the paradigm, building a more beautiful paradigm for us all. They have a we over me mentality. They have a empowered God creator mentality rather than a victim mentality. They have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. They have abundance mindset instead of scarcity paradigm. They're into health and wellness. They like to take care of the planet, And the more I follow these type of people online and do what they say and embody their habits, the more I start meeting these people in real life, and the more those type of people want to be around. And then when I do meet someone like walking into this Water Fusions, and here's this badass entrepreneur, he was like super healthy looking. He had this presence about him. He seemed very wise. He'd been running this business for 5 years, and he keeps expanding it and growing it. So obviously he's crushing it as an entrepreneur, because having a storefront like that's not easy. And he was in a super like high vibe part of town. And if you live in Salt Lake, Water Fusions is in Sugar House. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a renaissance happening over there, where there's just like that's like the highest concentration of like vegan spots and health food spots, and like you can walk to like 8 different health food stores, just within walking distance of each other. And there's cold pressed juice places, and there's like 20 different yoga studios, and like it's the part of town where all that kind of shit is. And it's not cheap to rent there. So he's probably doing pretty well in his business, and he has all this cool stuff and wisdom, and but I wouldn't have been able to have a good conversation if I hadn't been doing the inner work. Since I've been doing the inner work, like we just hit it off, and I had so many things to say about him that made him want to be around me too. If I was on a low frequency and I was just standing outside his shop smoking a cigarette and feeling bummed out and blah, 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 he wouldn't have been like, "Oh, you're the dude I've been looking for. I want to work with you." But no, I came in there on a high frequency, just got down on a hike. He could feel my energy. He could feel I'm on a winning streak, because I just got done talking to Charlie Rocket. And like I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling like I'm creating my own reality. I'm feeling like I'm deserving and worthy of talking to high level people. And wouldn't you know it, he wants to hang out with me, he wants to do stuff with me. And it's like, and that's just one example. Like there's so many examples I could give like that, where I've just embodied a higher frequency. And then people that are playing life at a higher level want to be around me. They want to work with me. They want to give me opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, I used to only know broke people. Every single person I knew was just struggling like crazy for money. And now it's like I'm starting to be around millionaires and, 6-7 figure earners. I'm being around people that are buying their own homes, that running their own businesses, that are doing well, that are living out their dreams, people that are traveling, people that are doing what they love in life. And it's because I'm being that. And for years, I've been making friends that basically travel the world to do music. And that's because I started doing that. I started being that type of person. And it's like, the more, it sounds pretty obvious, but the more I travel to do music, the more I meet people who also travel to do music. The more I perform big shows, the more I become friends with people that perform big shows. And there's this mutual respect for each other, because we see each other like, just, you're really doing it. And like, I'm friends with all the top musicians in my state in every genre. Like all the biggest rock artists, all the biggest EDM artists, all the biggest country, whatever, like all the biggest different genres, even though they're not my genre, because I do hip hop. And I'm friends with all the biggest hip hop cats too, but it's like the people in the other genres have this mutual respect. And then now it's like I'm starting to be friends with all the biggest like spiritual mentors and healers and public speakers and entrepreneurs because I'm embodying that frequency. So in life, you never get what you want, you get what you are. You got to study the habits and the routines and the mindsets and everything from the people that you want to be like, and then start being that yourself, and you will attract those type of people into your life. We don't get what we want, we get what we are. And it's not just what we are intellectually, it's what our body thinks we are on a subconscious level. And you really do become like the people you hang out with. That's why, like, a parent's not really super scared about who their teacher is as much as they are about who their kid's friends is. Like, I'm not scared, but I'm more concerned with who my daughter goes and has a sleepover with than anything else, because I'm like, oh, she's gonna start talking like that, acting like that, being like that. If her best homie is like a little spoiled brat, she's gonna start acting more like a spoiled brat. But if her best friend is really polite, then she'll be more polite. I have a friend who's like just super polite and super well-mannered, and the more I hang out with him, the more well-mannered I become, and the more pleasant and polite I am to people, and just like I have really good manners because of hanging out with him. I like those qualities in him. We'll subconsciously pick up qualities in people that we like and the qualities that we don't like. So we got to be very careful who we spend time with, and who we follow online is a big part of that these days. Like, who are the 5 Instagram stories that you watch the most? What's the YouTube channels that you subscribe to the most? You got to unfollow, unsubscribe from anything that doesn't fully embody where you're trying to go. We get what we tolerate. Tony Robbins says, if you want to change your life in 3 words, raise your standards. And that's so true. I say that all the time, because the more I raise my standards, the better my life gets. Like, I used to tolerate being around certain people that I just wouldn't tolerate being around anymore, because I'm scared. I used to tolerate myself hanging out with a lot of people that made me feel unsafe. Like, I was scared for my safety because of their habits. And so now, like, I'm not going to get in the car with certain people. And anytime I do, I feel like I'm disrespecting myself and playing at a smaller level. Like, I used to have these homies that would, like, they'd be rolling around, and I still love some of these cats. Like, I love everybody, really, and I accept them all for where they're at and honor them. I'm not trying to judge them. It's just like, for my own health, I have to do what feels right to me. It's just like, what you eat doesn't make me shit. Who you fuck doesn't make me come. I love that J. Cole lyric. So I'm not trying to judge you. Like, if you, doing what you're doing, it's just like, if you want to eat McDonald's for breakfast and whatever, that's fine. I'm not judging you for it. I'm just saying, like, that's not something I'm going to tolerate for myself, because it's not going to make me feel good. But yeah, I used to have these homies that, like, they'd be rolling around with, like, an uninsured, unregistered car, smoking a bunch of weed while they're driving around. They got fucking lighters and cigarettes everywhere, and trash all over their car. And they got, like, multiple charges with, and they're on the bad side of the law, and they're just rolling around sketchy, and they got a firearm on them and, like, stuff like that. And it's like, yo, I'm fucking scared. If we get pulled over, like, we're probably going to jail, and I'm probably going to get in some type of trouble or some type of huge inconvenience just by being with you. And it's like, it's not even about them. It's like, how much do I love myself? If I love myself, I'm not going to put myself in an unsafe situation where I just don't feel comfortable. And it's like, you got to really watch that stuff and realize, like, holy shit, I've been tolerating being in those situations just because I love this person and I want to be around them. And really, it might be born out of love, but actually, is it really born out of fear? Because I'm scared that I'm not deserving of a better relationship that doesn't make me feel unsafe? Am I worried that no one's going to hang out with me, or that I'm going to not have as many friends or not have as much love if I don't hang out with this person? And it's like, or am I scared to be alone? So a lot of times people hang out with toxic relationships because they're scared to be alone. I used to do this with women. Like, there was like a year or two of my life where I probably slept with like 15 different females in the course of like a year and a half or something like that. And like, I'm not judging anyone for what they do with that, but like, I don't do that anymore. I haven't hooked up with anyone in a very long time because, in fact, I've only had sex once in the last 5 years, and it didn't feel right, so I didn't keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And even though the woman was super attractive, it's just like it wasn't so aligned because I realized a lot of that was coming out of ego and fear. Like, if I sleep with more women, I'll feel more loved or more deserving, or I'll feel like more like a man, or I'll feel like, look how cool I am because I get all these girls. And I had to dissolve that part of my ego because it was toxic, and I realized, like, oh shit, I'm allowing low vibe women who have bad habits and who are basically toxic to be around. I'm allowing them to come over and be at my house and stay the night with me, or be in my office with me, because I don't want to be alone. I'm scared to be alone, or I'm scared to not feel loved, or I'm scared that I'm going to be judged by other dudes or something like that. Like, I realize a lot of that's born out of fear, and a lot of people are doing that. They stay in abusive, toxic relationships because they're fearful of being alone. So transcend that with self-love and just get comfortable with being alone. I'd rather spend, months alone than like minutes with the wrong people. Because I'm going to become like the people I'm hanging around. And if I'm just like so scared to be alone, then I'm going to go hang out with toxic people. Like, I'm just doing everyone a disservice. And I still have homies. Like, I'm not perfect at any of this. All this stuff I talk about I'm never on a high horse. Like, oh, look at Burnell, I'm fucking perfect at all these things. These are mostly all just things that I'm working on and reminders I need for myself. So I still have people in my life that it's like I have to question, like, why am I hanging out with that person? And like, some people you just love and you're just like, you know what, that's just that person and they just are how they are, and I'm just gonna love and accept them unconditionally. They're never gonna change. I'm not gonna try to change them. I'm just gonna hold space for them and love them and accept them and honor where they are on their path. And sometimes I might still enjoy their company for certain reasons, but I have to limit the amount of time I spend with them, or limit like certain things with them, because it's like, all right, boundaries can be super healthy. But our life is only as good as the quality of our relationships. So if we want to have a more fulfilling quality of life, we need to have more fulfilling relationships, and we need to make time for these relationships. We can't just get so busy, caught up in the rat race, caught up in the pressures and struggles of society, of making money and paying our bills and getting by and doing all these things that we have to do. Like, I had a conversation with my best homie, months ago, because like I kept inviting him to do stuff, and he would say he's too busy, and he would have like the lamest excuses. And like, still a lot of people, like my brother and a lot of people in my life, still have lame ass excuses, and I call them on it every time. They say they're too busy, and I'm like, oh really, with what? I gotta like do my laundry. And it's like, dude, fuck your laundry. Come on a hike with me and you can do laundry later. You really, like, if you were gonna die tomorrow, like, having clean clothes was the most important thing. And it's not even like you didn't have clean clothes, you just maybe didn't have your favorite clean clothes. Like, you still probably had some clean shit in your closet that you could wear. But, and like, I get it, trust me, I'm telling, part of the reason I call people on it and criticize on it is because I need to judge myself, not judge myself, I need to like work on this myself for this. Because I get caught up, it's like I'm prioritizing the wrong things. Like, instead of prioritizing relationships and human connection, which is essential for life, like they've proven that a baby will literally die if it's not held. And they've actually proven, there's a lot of studies, again, from Ivy League schools, from like Harvard and Yale, where they say loneliness and feeling disconnected is actually worse for your health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in for a bit. And that's not something I made up. That's science. There's facts being like, they've done a lot of studies on this. And I understand this. And loneliness does really hurt. Being lonely does hurt, but like, you need to be around. So you need to take time for the people that you do love. You need to make that a priority. we're so entrained and enslaved and tricked in this society to think like we got to be busy all the time. And like, if any of my homies are listening to this right now and you've been too busy or I've been too busy, like hit me up and let's fucking kick it. Yo, I'll drop what I'm doing, because when it comes down to it, yeah, I got certain things I really want to do in life. I got ambitions. Like my dreams are so big. Like I could hustle and grind 24/7 and be too busy, but I realized I lost a lot of the amazing people because I was too busy for them. I thought reaching the next level of success in my career was more important than kicking it with the homies. I thought doing my laundry or cleaning my house or recording this podcast or whatever was more important than homies. And the older I get, the more people that keep dying around me, the more I realize how precious life is and how it's like, we got to really make time for our people, yo. We can't just be too busy all the time and expect ourselves to have these beautiful, thriving relationships. Because guess what happens? If you're too busy for someone all the time, they stop hitting you up. Your connection fades. And it could be rekindled, but I've lost a lot of connections because I was just too busy. And it's like there's a balance there. You don't want to just hang out with low vibe people because you value relationships more than anything, and then you sacrifice, you don't go chase all your goals and dreams because you're busy partying. Like, trust me, I had to leave the parties. I had to stop playing beer pong every Friday night because I wanted to be writing songs. I wanted to be growing my online business. I wanted to be developing as a person and growing spiritually and improving my health. Like, so I had to leave certain relationships and deal with periods of loneliness while I embodied a new frequency that attracted better relationships. And it's just, I'm starting to realize like how important it is for us to make time for each other, and we can't just like be busy all the time. That's not going to get us anywhere. You're going to be busy all this time so you can get all this stuff that you think you need. So really for me, like what I'm craving is connection. And I think I want to serve people. So if I can serve as much people as I can and spend all my time and energy on this podcast and YouTube and my music and stuff, then I'll get this success and then I'll get love and then I'll have the connection that I want. But what if I could bypass all of that shit and just realize I already have the connection I want? I already have beautiful, awesome people in my life, and all I got to do is make a little more time for them and go be around their energy more. And it's not always easy. Sometimes you might have to sacrifice things or whatever to go hang out with certain people. And I have a lot of friends that live around the world, you know what I mean? So I have to travel to them sometimes. There's a lot of people I only see when I go to California, or that I only see when I go to Hawaii, or I only see when I'm, in Minnesota or New York or whatever. And it's like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do to go be around them because I love them and cherish them. And maybe that just means I need to like carve out 20 minutes here and there to hop on a phone call with them and let them know that they're important to me and let them know I value our relationship and that I cherish our connection. So yeah, it's just so important. Relationships are everything. And all of us want to attract like more beautiful, more fulfilling relationships. So that's pretty much my best tips on how to do that. Is just learn from the people that you want to be like and embody that and choose good habits and choose to be in your higher self. Follow your bliss, make it a priority. Find out where these people are hanging out at and go hang out. If you want to be healthy, hang out, and you want healthy friends, like you're going to meet them at the gym, at the yoga studio, at the sound healing place, at the wellness retreat, at the Whole Foods, at the juice bar, at the breath workshop. Like you're going to meet those type of people at those type of places. So go to those places and be around them. You're not going to meet healthy people that you want to emulate and learn from and stuff at the McDonald's or at the Winco, which is like the low vibe grocery store. And like, no offense, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I say is always coming from love. This is just my own beliefs and thoughts, and they come out pretty raw sometimes. But yeah, you're going to meet the people that you like. They're just hanging out in certain places. Like I'm probably more likely to meet my soulmate or my dream girl out in nature on a hike than I am at the bar. Cause I'm not attracted to, the drunk girls that are just, like, I used to be attracted to drunk girls because I thought it would be easier to hook up with them. And like, my ego's like, oh, they can give me more attention, more love. If I go to the bar, I'll get these girls that are loosened up and they got their inhibitions lowered. And so they'll flirt with me and I can spit game and da da da. And then I realized every girl that I ever brought home from a bar, I wanted to get them an Uber home like immediately. Like, I was just like, I don't even want this girl in my house right now. She's like causing a scene, being negative, just bringing weird energies into my crib. I'm not about it. But whenever I've met girls through like awesome people or on a hike or at like a really high vibe festival or a retreat or something like that, it's like we end up having beautiful relationships, And this, not just girls, like friends, anything, like just, you're going to meet the type of people that you want to meet in certain places and not meet them in others. So just think about that. Think about where they're going. Where do they shop? Where do they hang out with? How do they spend their time? What podcasts do they listen to? I've actually met a lot of really high vibe people. And I need to use a better word than high vibe. I guess it's the easiest, laziest way that I've found to describe it now. But you guys understand what I mean when I say that. People that just kind of embody a higher frequency and they're in their heart space and they're living out their purpose in a big way, or they're just beautiful souls. I have met a lot of them through Instagram stories, surprisingly. It's really weird, but I'll share a podcast that I really liked. And I'll tag like the podcast host or something. And then that podcast host will share it on their story. And then people that follow them will click on my profile because they'll see that and they'll hit me up and they'll say, hey, I saw you because you, actually 2 of my coaching clients came from this exact way. I saw you because you shared so-and-so's podcast and I love that podcast. And I started following you and I love your vibe too. And I love watching your stories and the energy you're putting out. And it's like, chances are, if we both listen to the same podcast, we both have a lot of the same beliefs and mindsets and we're interested in learning the same things. And so we're probably going to like each other. You know what I mean? Like the same thing with YouTube. I found a couple people because they saw me commenting on certain YouTube channels that they watch too. And they added me or followed me because they're like, oh, you're into so-and-so's YouTube channel too? Damn, that's my favorite channel. Like we have a lot to talk about. It's like me, if I'm on the bus or, I got a car now, thank God, so I'm not going to be on the bus anymore. But if I'm on the subway in New York, I see someone reading a book on meditation, boom, I could instantly have like the most brilliant conversation with her. We could become best friends and we'd have so much to talk about because she's reading a meditation book or a yoga book, or, I see someone at the wellness store getting some superfoods and boom, we can instantly make a connection over health and wellness because we're both into that. So finding like common ground is one of the best ways to start building rapport with someone. And like once you do meet someone, you just, like, another big key, I can't believe I didn't mention this way earlier in the episode, one of the biggest keys to attracting your soul tribe is to be the most authentic you. If you are you being a fake version of you, you're going to attract fake people. You're going to attract people that, like, if you're trying to like boost your ego and get around and meet people based on like how cool they think you are, you're going to probably meet people that are also like really ego driven, versus when you meet someone on a genuine connection because you're being authentic. Like I've had a lot of chance to meet certain celebrities and musicians that are really famous, and I haven't really cared to meet them. Like I'd rather be outside talking to the girl that had like a yoga shirt on or something, and we're all of a sudden talking about Kundalini yoga, and it's not coming from an ego thing. It's coming from like I'm being the most authentic me, and just the more you put yourself out there, the more people will resonate with you and hit you up. People can always tell when you're wearing a mask or when you're playing small or when you're hiding in your shell. And it's not inspiring. They don't want to be around that. But it's so inspiring to meet someone who's just like so genuinely authentic. Like we love, love, love people who are unapologetically themselves. Arguably some of the most famous musicians right now are not people that are necessarily the most talented musicians. Like they might have certain talents, but it's like, I think part of the reason people like Post Malone or Logic or a lot of the people that they like is because they perceive them to be very genuine. You're like, this dude is just a real dude, and they're just themselves. Like, he's not afraid to talk about Rubik's Cubes and science and Alan Watts and this and that, and so I liked all that stuff too, and I just like that he's himself. You know, like, I don't drink or smoke, but I actually think it's cool that Post Malone, like, has, like, a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and a Bud Light in his hand every time you see him. And even though I hope I can end up working with him and coach him through some of those things and help him get on like a healthier, more aligned, more sustainable path. But in the meantime, I'm actually pretty inspired that he's like not afraid to be himself. He's not apologetic about it. He's not like, I like to have a cold sudsy one with my boys. Fuck it. And I like to, I probably smoke too many cigarettes. But he's not like worried about what you think of him. He doesn't care about if you're going to judge him for drinking Bud Light or smoking or whatever. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if you're going to judge his face tats. Like, he's comfortable in his own skin. And I mean, it might seemingly seem easier looking on the outside, like, oh, it's easy for him because he has all this money and success and everyone tells him how awesome he is and all these girls want him and whatever. Like, so easy for someone like that to be authentic. But if you look at videos of him before he was famous, he was really like that too. Like, he was just being himself on YouTube. You see videos of him like way before he ever like was known. And I think that's part of what helped him blow up. He was just not afraid to be himself. So the more authentic you are, the more you just put yourself out there, put your beliefs out there, put your thoughts out there, put your mindsets, share more of yourself with the world. And yes, you gotta be careful not to overshare and have a balance, of course. But the more you share yourself with the world, the more people are just going to resonate with you and fall in love with you, really. Like, the more podcast episodes I make where I'm just being raw, being Burnell, telling you guys how I feel. I'm not trying to be any type of certain way. I'm not worried about what you guys think of me. I'm not saying, oh, I got to talk a certain way or say certain things in order for people to like me. Like, if I have a feeling that comes up and it's recording, I just say it. I don't go back and delete or edit. I have not edited a single episode of this podcast. Like, we're like almost 40 something episodes in. None of these have been edited in any way. I click record, I talk for the entire duration, I click stop, and then I upload it. I don't go back and take out anything. And, arguably, maybe down the road I'll have like a podcast editor that does that takes out like my ums and my breaths and, certain things that I mispronounce or whatever. But like, I think I'm just being authentic. I'm just being me. And then more and more people want to be friends with me. More and more people want to do business with me. More and more people want to buy my beats. They want to hire me to coach. They want to book me on shows. I think a lot of the promoters that have booked me on all these amazing shows, they just like my personality, and they're just like, I just like Bernie Gold. I just like this dude for being him. And so I just want to book him. It's not even about how dope I am. It's just like, I'm just authentic, and they resonate with that. So, it's 11:11 right now. I started recording this episode at exactly 10:10, so it turns out it was not a short episode. It was about my normal length, and maybe even longer. So perfect. I'm going to wrap this up right now. And I just want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being you. Go put yourself out there. Get out of your comfort zone. Make some new friends. Attract your soul tribe. You deserve it. There's like 8 billion people on this planet. You should not spend any time with people that don't light you up and just really help you become the best version of you. So you deserve that, and they're out there. You just have to embody it first, and you'll be shocked at how fast they start coming into your life. So thank you so much. If you got any value from this episode, take a screenshot right now. Share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me at Burnell Washburn. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a little comment, say what up so I can know who's watching. Feel free to reach out to me on my website. All the links to all my stuff is always in the description. And if you feel called to support this message, to support everything that I'm doing and help inspire and uplift and impact more people, check out patreon.com/Burnell Washburn. The link for that is also in the description. And you can support, whether you want to throw $5 or $10 or $20 a month. Like, it goes a long way. And it helps me out so much. It helps me provide for my daughter. It helps pay for the expenses, because it's not free to record a podcast and put it online. And, it's not free to do any of this stuff. So it really helps spread the message and impact more people. And the more we can grow this Patreon support, the more beautiful things I can do. And, the more people can have a happier, more fulfilling quality of life. So I really appreciate everything you guys are doing, whether you're leaving a review, sending me a message, or just listening in general. I really, really appreciate it. So I love you from the bottom of my heart. Go create an amazing rest of your day. You absolutely can have, be, and do anything in this world, and you deserve all the richest blessings. I love you so much. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.